I got to be real with you, man. I think that you can get by without him. I really can. Maybe he's 80%, 75%. He can give you some plays here and there, maybe a critical third down. You're not putting him in there every drive. The Abdul Carter thing is the big deal for me because you're going to have Riley Leonard run the football in this game. And what stops quarterback run more than anything? Athletic as hell edge guys. I will never forget this. Jane Daniels was asked last year. He goes, "What?" Like he was asked basically a question of like, "Hey, you have more attempts in these games versus you run. Like, how do you know when to take off?" I quote, "If I have an athletic dude at edge, I'm getting the ball out quick, and I am not running to his side." Same thing for Riley Leonard in a way, right? Like these guys are built the same. If you want to stop a really good attack from the QB run game, you have to have an edge guy that can be ready to go. I just feel like Abdul Carter, for what it's worth, because he's on the line of scrimmage, it feels more like a bigger deal for Penn State that they need him to win this one.
And also look back at the Boise State game for the beginning of the game when he was in. Defensively, they were dominating. And that was a hot start to the game. They were doing everything that they knew that they could do.
10 carries, 20 yards, if you remember.
Right. But at that beginning of the game, they were completely overpowering him, and Abdul Carter was off to a really hot start, and then he goes out and he's gone. And then those that middle period, second, third quarter was when they started to pick up a little bit of steam and almost get back into it and maybe almost challenge Penn State, and the rest was history, and Penn State kicked the shit out of them. We all remember how that game went. But what I'm saying is that there's a little bit of evidence against a much weaker opponent that when they didn't have Abdul Carter, their defensive line was still really good. Their linebackers were still really good, but it just didn't have that same level of fear injected into an opponent. And I think the way that you just brought up there too is also really critical for this conversation. Riley Leonard winning this game is doing what he did against Georgia, which was extending the pocket, which was finding rushing lanes, which was evading pressure and getting just when plays were breaking down and nobody was getting open because his guys never going to get open, he was just running and picking up yards. So he can't scramble if he's got Abdul Carter. I remember the Ohio State game watching Abdul Carter go off against Ohio State and him get after Will Howard. It completely kept that game close, having him on the field.
He flustered Will Howard. Call it what it is. I mean, he was flustered. He was tracking him down, and it got bad for Ohio State. They almost lost because of it.
His athleticism is extremely notable. Same thing with Jeremiah Love. It doesn't like completely kill their chances of winning. And it's not like, oh no, now they're screwed. But because you get denied Dennis Sutton, who's a tremendous player and who's also a first round talent, just not as productive as Abdul Carter. But I agree with what you said. There are going to be negative consequences to this for Penn State.
Well, look, I think about the fourth down that Notre Dame went for it, and Riley Leonard came up short, right? They were 4 of 14 on third down. Like you just the line of scrimmage for me is always going to win this argument, Joe. 10 times out of 10, it's just going to win it. Like I can't get over that. But I will say this. I think Jeremiah Love will be missed in the red zone, though. I mean, man, Joe, both teams have really struggled in the red zone. I mean, it's I don't know if either team's going to score over 24 points. I'm serious.
I don't disagree. The over on this on BetOnline is 45. Hammer the under.
I might go under. I might buy a point just for the hell of it and say, you know what, let's.
Yeah.
But games aren't fun when you bet the under.
I know. Hey, man. Hey, no, defensive football's fun, damn it.
No, because you know what happens?
What?
Both teams are tied at 14 at halftime, and I start panicking.
Well, that makes it more exciting.